Dios está aquí, tan cierto como el aire que respiro, tan cierto como en la mañana se levanta el sol, tan cierto que cuando le hablo él me puede oír. Dios está aquí, tan cierto como el aire que respiro, tan cierto como en la mañana se levanta el sol, tan cierto que cuando le hablo él me puede oír. Dios está aquí, tan cierto como el aire que...
When you are caged, I am not free. When I am caged, you are not free. When you are caged, I am not free. When I am caged, you are not free. When you are caged, I am not free. When I am caged, you are not free. When you are caged, I am not free. When you are caged, I am not free. When I am caged, you are not free.
Everything that lives has a story to tell, but not every story has a chance to be told.
Women from the Looking for Lilith Theatre Company have journeyed to Guatemala to help women of that country uncover their stories. They have found stories of joy and sorrow, of great faith and a perpetual struggle for empowerment. Personal expression is a commonly accepted right in the United States, but many people around the world have not embraced or been given this liberty. Particularly in Guatemala,
Many
women
feel
are confined to silence under the weight of poverty, illiteracy, machismo,
and memories of their nation's civil war, which ended in 1996. Looking for Lilith believes in the power of the arts and storytelling to unite people, to build connections across cultures, and to create positive change while providing a safe and creative outlet to spark conversation and shared experiences. During 2003 and 2004, Looking for Lilith's co-artistic director, Jennifer Thalman Kepler, spent a year living in a rural town on the west coast of Guatemala while in service with the Presbyterian Church USA.
When I was 28 years old, I spent a year working and living in rural Guatemala. It was hard. It was wonderful. It was different. It was lonely. One day, near Christmas, the church where I was working went on a hike to a waterfall. Now, I grew up camping and hiking, so I was in my element when a group of women from the church asked me to come along.
Hay un banco. Tienes que tener mucho cuidado aquí.
We should all be careful. This is a cliff. Of course, we didn't always travel by foot. There were long, crowded bus rides.
¿Qué haces cuando estás aquí en Estados Unidos o estás con nosotros en Guatemala?
When I'm in the States, what I do when I'm not in Guatemala, I work for a women's theater company. We create plays about women's stories and experiences. Sometimes we work with groups of women to create plays about their stories.
Interesante.
Yeah, it is interesting.
¿Por qué no haces algo así con nosotras?
Yeah, we could do it here with you. I mean, yeah, why not?
Claro, algún día
I'll talk to
también.
my colleagues, yeah.
Primero
Someday.
Dios.
Jennifer returned to Guatemala in 2005 with a small group of Looking for Lilith artists to use theater of the oppressed and story circle techniques in creating a dialogue with the Guatemalan women based around two questions. That conversation grew into an ongoing partnership and sisterhood between Looking for Lilith and our Guatemalan compañeras, now called Colectivo Teatral Histórias de Fe, Faith Stories Theatre Collective. Looking for Lilith artists continued meeting with their compañeras in Guatemala, and in 2009, a yearly cultural exchange was initiated with delegations of women from Virginia's First Presbyterian Church of Winchester and the Fairfax Presbyterian Church, along with Looking for Lilith and Colectivo Teatral Histórias de Fe. As work began around issues of faith, it illuminated other practical issues that women face in their communities, including healthcare access and domestic violence. The women of Colectivo Teatral Histórias de Fe felt compelled to use their theater skills to explore other topics of women's oppression in their society.
That became clear when we were at Sarah Mujer and I was working with the women on the domestic violence scene and problem solving and coming up with solutions, and every solution that we could come up with, it was like, well, that, we can't do that, we can't do that.
Violencia en las sombras.
Can you go to a shelter? No, there are no shelters in Guatemala.
Violence in the shadows.
Could we create a shelter? Could we create like this underground system in an aldea?
Justicia.
But then they were like, but nobody can afford that.
Para mí la importancia de seguir con este proyecto es que se están educando, es muy dinámico y participativo.
The thing that's most important to me about being able to continue this project is that it's a way of educating that's very dynamic and very participatory.
En esta tarde, pues, como comunidad de aquí de Pachá, estamos muy agradecidos por estos talleres que se han impartido en estos 3 días.
We're very grateful as the community of Pakchak. We're very grateful to you all for coming to give these workshops in these last 3 days.
Estos talleres son muy importantes para las mujeres de nuestra comunidad porque muchos desconocen lo que es la nutrición.
These workshops are very important for the women in our community because there are many who don't know about what good nutrition means.
Entonces para mí es importantísimo seguir capacitando más a las mujeres en todo el país.
And so for me, it's really important to continue training or giving workshops for all the women in our country.
Para que ya no haya mortandad de la niñez.
So that we don't have children dying
por la desnutrición.
Because of malnutrition.
The women of Colectivo Teatral Histórias de Fe created a vision for the project's future in order to expand and connect their work throughout Guatemala, as well as with the entire Looking for Lilith ensemble. After a separation caused by a too-long global pandemic, members of Looking for Lilith and First Presbyterian Church of Winchester are returning to Guatemala to reconnect and be in community once again with the women of Teatro Colectivo Histórias de Fe. Your support is key to unlocking the growth and continuation of this program. We believe that theater can be a powerful tool to bridge cultural gaps, promote cross-cultural understanding, and create real change in the lives of individuals and communities. Like the resplendent Quetzal, we must uncage our voices in order to survive and thrive. Please consider donating today and join us in our mission to uncage voices and stories that so need to be heard. In being heard, such voices have the power to change our worlds.
Dios está aquí, tan cierto como el aire que respiro, tan cierto como en la mañana se levanta el sol, tan cierto que cuando le hablo él me puede oír. Dios está aquí, tan cierto como el aire que respiro, tan cierto como en la mañana se levanta el sol, tan cierto que cuando le hablo él me puede oír.